Alright, hello everybody, welcome back to another amazing, very consistent Draco video, because I upload very consistently, and this is an obvious fact, and you all should know this by now, because I'm just simply the fucking greatest YouTuber of all time, no cap. Anyways, I'm gonna make this video quick because I have strep throat. It's been 2 weeks since I've uploaded. I have zero ideas whatsoever because Skippity Toad's kind of dry right now, man. And I think we can all come to a mutual agreement that Plunger TV would absolutely shit on any other character aside from maybe Sinister in a 1v1 from in other Skibbity verse. Obviously, he loses to all the Skibbity Wars Titans because Skibbity Wars is just way stronger than any other characters. But you get the idea anyway. So we're gonna make this quick because I got songs to listen to and shit, very clearly. But alright, so to make this quick, right? The argument for this video, the topic of discussion in this video is hyper upgraded Titan Speaker Man, specifically from episode 70, part 3. Specifically that version. At least that what's it part 1 that he first appeared in? I don't fucking remember. But you get the idea. First appearance, hyper upgraded Titan Speaker Man. That is the version of Titan Speaker Man that I will be using in this video because that is the strongest version of him that appears within the series. Alright. Now, before we get on to things, so today's main topic of discussion is obviously going to be Hyper, but more specifically Hyper versus G-Man, UTTM, UTCM, and ATCM, obviously. So, obviously, first of all, we need to clear up a couple things, right? So, number one, G-Man already beat Hyper. Now, yes, he did. I admit he did beat a Hyper. However, I need you to bear in mind that there are multiple setbacks in this version of Hyper, which is the reason I'm not using this version of Hyper, as I believe and agree this version of Hyper is much weaker than the other Titans, okay? Now, this version of Hyper specifically has way less energy, and the energy he does have is only centered in a singular point, right? Like, when he first appears, right, you see that there's energy leaking out of his speaker, his core, and both of his blasters, right? Now, the version of Hyper Titan Speakerman that we see in 73 or it's 74, I don't fucking remember. You get the idea, okay? Now, this version of him, not only did he only have one blaster, he got way less energy, and we can see that the energy that is flowing out of his body is not flowing out at such a rapid pace like in his first appearance, because it was a much more just way more energy. It's like a much bigger overflow of energy that's just coming out of him, that's just gushing out of his core and his blasters and stuff, versus his second appearance where there's still energy coming out, but it's not going at such a rapid pace, and there's overall way less energy, right? To be more specific, right? Episode in his first appearance, there's energy gushing out of pretty much every part of his body, right? If you look at his second appearance, there's really only energy gushing out of one part of his body, right? Now, and the energy that is gushing out, it's coming out much slower, and there's visually much less of it than we see coming out of his first appearance, right? So I think we can just come to the conclusion that Hyper in episode 7 or in his first appearance was much stronger, right? So yes, I agree G-Man is over this version of Hyper. However, this version of Hyper is much weaker, as I've just explained, right? Now we should also get onto the fact that the energy he got in general was sure it should have been weaker, right? We know that the cores of the Titans are the basis of their strength, right? The core is their main power. Their core goes out, they fucking die, right? We see this when Titan Cameraman's fighting G-Man, his core starts to flash, he's losing energy, and so he decides to flee and he runs away, right? So the cores are just the basis of energy for the Titans, their main part. They're it's called a core for a damn reason, core, center part of their body, vital point, whatever, right? So, hold on. I swear I was just cooking something, bruh. Oh dear. I can't hold you, but I've been performing so shittily at everything I've been doing for the last week, bro. I can't hold you. Alright. Yeah, so the core is the center of energy or something. See, if I was able to, cut the video here, I would, but, for some goddamn reason, my cutting isn't here, so just give this old man a second to remember what the fuck I was about to say. I'm not gonna cut this part out of the video either, because, it's just a little bit too hard, and, no cut button, so, let's see here, so, cores are the bases of energy. I was talking about the cores being the bases of energy, something like that. Yeah, to be honest, just drop that fucking point. I swear I had something cooking, bro. Chest. Uh, so let me just recap everything, because I'm low key starting to forget things. Uh, Second appearance hyper is weaker than first appearance hyper. Oh shit! I remember what I was gonna say now. Alright, yeah. So the cores are like the basis of strength for the Titans. We know that if they like overdo it or take too much damage to like their core, then they have to flee or they're about to fucking die. As we see in Titan Cameraman's fight against G-Man, his core starts to flash, so he decides to run away. Right. So at this point in time, after UTTM had given UTSM the energy for the second time, right? He had already used his core multiple times prior to this, and he's been exerting himself much more than he did when he first gave UTSM the energy, right? So the energy in general that he's providing should just logically be weaker because his energy is being overexerted and is exerted more than it was when he originally first UTSM the energy. Hence why this version is weaker for multiple separate reasons, as I've just listed. So yeah, G-Man is over one version of Hyper. Other version of Hyper is much stronger. Alright, let me be on my friend. I, alright. So moving on once again. So the main win con is obviously gonna be the knives. Right now, you're probably saying, "Oh, but G-Man take the knives beforehand." Da 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 da. Well, yes, he did. I mean, not really tanking. Them shits clearly went through him. And remember that this is a Hyper without all the main energy stuff, right? Like his body isn't moving as rapidly as it was before. Only one blaster, etc., right? So now this version, his blaster wasn't firing out rapidly like 100 shots a second, like in 70. So the main win con is the knives. Now, since he's gonna be more like charged and stuff, and we know that the knives are like standard equipment for UTSM, we see him just pull them out of fucking nowhere on multiple different occasions. Like we see it in the fight against Cinema. Pretty sure we see it at some point when UTSM and UTCM are like teaming up together. Pretty sure we see it once against Scientist for some fucking reason, and then obviously we see it against G-Man. So he does have the knives just as like standard equipment, right? I know against G-Man, like when he has the knives, that is like his go-to to use, right? So this version of Hyper gonna take out the knives, gonna stab G-Man. He can move much more rapidly than the version that actually did fight G-Man. Though for it, he would be able to just kill G-Man much faster, right? Now, even if you want to ignore that, we can just use the blasters. The blasters we're shown to like stun G-Man momentarily if my memory does serve me correctly, which to be honest it probably doesn't. But see, he has two blasters that is firing way, way, way more rapidly than than in his actual fight with G-Man. So G-Man's gonna be overwhelmed by that. If he hits the eyes, then G-Man is blinded and he can just go in and stab him with the knives, right? So that's G-Man, just like done. Right, now moving on, UTTM. So pretty much for UTTM, right? The TVs are just like demonstrated to be his weakness. He doesn't really have any like good piercing durability feats, hence why I think Hyper UTSM can just stab him through the screen and he dies. You just stab him in the core and he dies, right? Because obviously he has superior speed, and so Hyper just blitzes him, stabs him in like the screen. Now he's blinded, or he stabs him in the like lower screen. You know what I mean? I can't say that for like just YouTube reasons, whatever the hell. He stabs him in the core and he dies because we know core is the weakness as established by Titan Cameraman. And shit I've said earlier. You see, UTTM just gets stabbed and he dies, or he gets blinded and then he dies because he's blinded and he gets stabbed in the core, something like that, right? Now moving on to Astro Tank, or actually no, we have the couple of counter arguments to go on. All right, so the main like counter argument I see for UTTM, right, is just UTTM, or it's like UTTM's energy. Now, yes, it is UTTM's energy. However, this doesn't fucking matter. Okay. Now, if I'm like hypothetically equal to you and you give me your energy, this energy will just make me stronger than you, right? Because let's say we have a strength value of 1. UTTM is 1, and I'm also 1 for some reason. UTTM gives me his energy, and his energy is some value. Doesn't matter what the value is. It can be like 0.00001, right? Now, if he gives me the energy, I'm still going to be stronger than him by a margin because of that energy stacking on top of me, which brings me to like 1.00001, right? And he's just at a 1, therefore I'm stronger than him, right? So, and I mean, I don't really care about strength specifically, right? Like, that's not my main point. My main point is speed, then he stabs him. UTTM doesn't have any good, like, piercing durability feats, hasn't really been shown at all, therefore the knife can damage him, right? And so, I mean, it being his energy just isn't like a good argument. That doesn't really defeat anything whatsoever. You can still be stronger than somebody by using their own energy, especially if you utilize it differently than, like, they do, etc., etc. Now, the other is just that he gives you Hyper a portion of his energy, which it just gets defeated by the exact same thing. You can give me a portion of your energy, right, if our strength values are the same. I mean, I'm not saying UTSM and UTTM are the same, by the way. Don't get that wrong. It's just an analogy, everybody. Don't be stupid. Thank you. Stay in school. Right, so just like the energy values, you give me some portion of your power, I can become stronger than you, right? Like, let's just say UTSM is like a 9 or something. UTSM is like an 11. You give me energy, then it's just like overall value just goes up to like a 12 or something. Therefore, he's stronger than UTTM, right? Now we can move on to Astro Titan Cameraman. Now I need to clear things up. Astro Titan Cameraman is indeed stronger than than Prime Titan Cameraman, as people call him, like episode 65 and stuff, right? So the main reason for this is just going to be the Astro Claw. The Astro Claw can counter all projectiles. He has much superior, just like shoulder cannons that can just berate UTCM from afar. And Astro Claw is just an overall better close-handed weapon, you know? It's actually, okay, you get the idea. Now, moving on. I mean, so the reason is just pretty much going to be the same as UTTM. He stabs him through, like, the camera. He can't see anymore. He stabs him through the core and he dies. UTCM, he stabs him through stabs him through the core and he dies. He stabs him through the screen and he dies. And we see that UTCM is capable of being like just knocked backwards by like infected upgraded Titan Speaker, man. In like episode 57 and stuff, we see it multiple times that UTSM is capable of like charging up his blasters or just using his speaker and just like kind of and causing UTCM to just stumble backwards. And this version of UTCM should be logically heavier than Astro Titan Cameraman is, because Astro Titan Cameraman is carrying way less equipment. Therefore, he's just lighter. That doesn't mean he's weaker, by the way. It just means he's lighter. Therefore, it's easier for Titan Speakerman to knock him backwards. He knocks him backwards. He's off his feet. Now he gets stabbed in the core and he fucking dies. So that's Astro Titan Cameraman. Now, as for your normal UTCM, we already see that infected Titan Speaker with a much weaker blasters than he currently has, as we've seen them get upgraded before. Like, after the scientists fight, his blasters are fucked up, so that Alliance comes and repairs them or something like that, right? So we see weakened blasters capable like knocking UTCM backwards, like when stun him momentarily. The speaker's capable of stunning him momentarily. So Hyper UTSM, who's like way stronger now, and he's capable of doing like those much louder speaker blasts and much more rapid speaker blasts, and just overall much more rapid fire blasts and stuff. He can rapid fire the blast at UTCM, and he gets stunned momentarily. Hyper can take that momentary stun to take his knives and stab him in the core. So to TLDR, Hyper stabby, Titans die because they get stabbied. I mean, yeah, that's pretty much the video. Thanks for watching. If you for some reason watch this far, it's 13 fucking minutes. Anyways, also go subscribe to this guy named Beachy VR. He just like VR videos like Gorilla Tag and FNAF Help Wanted. Which, I mean, I don't have a VR, so I probably won't be in any of his videos. But if he does something else, then yeah, sure, maybe I'll be there. Thank you all for watching. Now, also, I do need to make this clear. If you do wish to debate this, I don't think I'm going to be doing YouTube comment debates anymore for a couple of reasons. More specifically, a couple annoying, disgusting, and vile individuals by the name of Shogun Master and his little boyfriend by the name of Belak, as we've debated multiple times, and I've beaten the shit out of them on numerous occasions. And I mean, if they do want to debate again, then I mean, sure, I guess maybe I'll be willing to do it. I mean, probably not, but I mean, like, if you're a normal human being, my Discord is like literally in my YouTube bio. Just add that, and we can debate there, more civilized, you know, instead of just being in a stupid fucking YouTube comment section where you can't send scans at all. It's just much more disorganized overall. You can delete comments on YouTube, which, I mean, I admit it. I do delete comments, but that's only if like the comment, if like I get bored of the debate and they're providing like little to no substance whatsoever. Like, I ask them, can you prove 1 + 1 = 2? And instead they say 3 + 3 = 6, therefore 1 + 1 = 2. That's not there's like no substance to that whatsoever, so I'm just gonna fucking delete that comment and not respond to you. I don't think it's very hard to understand. Like, I'm not gonna be ignorant and say I don't delete comments, because I do delete comments if it's being stupid. Obviously, I mean other people do that too, so I mean it's not like crazy information. But you know, if Bellic or Shogun watches this for some fucking reason, then you want to debate again. I don't think y'all are hidden from my channel, but like, I mean, we can. I mean, I've already offered to debate you on Natsu first versus SCP, and because y'all think SCP wins, and Balak said he doesn't want to debate, then he tries to make it seem like we did debate, even though Shogun #1 wasn't even there for the debate. Uh, well, I say debate with like air quotations because you said no, I don't want to debate, and then you kept arguing. I was like, we're not debate. Blah, 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 blah. Do you want to debate? And he's like, no, I don't want to debate. And so then I started deleting his comments. I hid him from my channel again, and Shogun was like, well, yeah, y'all can debate. I'm stupid. My name's Shogun Master, and I'm an idiot, and I love men. Nothing is gay people, by the way. I'm just using that as like an example. Anyways, y'all get the point. Have a good day. I'll be back in 2 months for my next upload on Hyper UTSM versus Juggernaut. Stay tuned. Goodbye.